Hi, I'm Commissioner Nancy Jester, and welcome to Nancy Jester Reports for Tuesday, June 26, 2018. We had your Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday the 26th, and I want to give you a recap on that. Before that, I want to talk about a couple of things. I know that property assessment notices went out, so that is from the tax appraiser's office. They give an assessment of the value of your property that will then be used to construct your tax bill. Your assessment, your property assessment is not your tax bill. So those will come out later. We are still in that time frame where you can appeal your assessment, the value of your property according to the appraiser. So I encourage you to appeal if you disagree with that. And if you have any questions about that, please call my office. So we're also want to make a comment about the fact that assessments for homesteaded properties are generally frozen. So depending on how long you own your property, you may have a big difference from your frozen value and your current assessment, and your county taxes are applied basically to that frozen value. So even if you've had an increase since the time of that frozen value, the taxes you're not taxed on that newer value, that increased value, but only on that frozen value. And what that will look like when you get your bill finally is actually, they'll call it a freeze credit. So it's a little bit funky to read, but you'll get basically a freeze credit. And this year also you'll start to see more credit for the SPLOST and eHost that we passed, that the county, the citizens passed last year. So you will start to see property tax relief on that as well. So there's sort of going to be a couple of different buckets for that. And also keep in mind you have your assessment freeze. Keep in mind also that while that applies to county taxes and the calculation of county taxes, and most cities as well, it does not apply to the school district millage rate. So the school district millage rate is against your assessment, your homesteaded assessment, but you don't get any freeze credit on that. So whatever your assessment is, that is what your school district taxes are going to be put against. So that's why they continue to occupy a greater and greater percentage of your total tax property bill. So, and I believe Tuesday evening, the board, we're filming this on Wednesday, but Tuesday evening the Board of Education did pass their budget and millage rate, and it is quite substantial. They have not rolled it back, and for years they've been collecting more and more property tax dollars, and we've not had any kind of significant rollback in millage rates from the school district for quite some time. So I'm a bit disappointed in that. So we had the first budget hearing in yesterday's meeting, so I just want to give you some big figures on that, and then we'll go into the other component parts of the agenda. So just to kind of recap the amount of money that the county is spending, just so you know, we have several tax funds. So you don't pay one millage rate, you pay a millage rate, you pay 7 millage rates essentially, depending on where you live in the county, whether you're in a city or in an unincorporated area. Unincorporated pays all the millage rates. Cities pay pursuant to the services they receive from the county. Everyone pays into the general fund. That's the largest tax fund. And so we're looking at a proposed millage of 9.638 on that, and that is going to generate, or the budget for that particular fund is about $346 million. The fire fund, we're looking at 2.687 proposed millage rate, and that budget is looking at about $68.5 million. The designated fund, which handles parks, roads, and drainage, and that's mostly for the unincorporated areas, then that's looking at 2.229 mils and $42 million in expenditures. And let me see, the police fund is looking at 4.797 mils, and the expenses there will be about 104.2 million. So that's gives you just some you can see what our budget is like, some volume of our budget. I will probably write something in more detail on my blog or in a newsletter, so stay tuned for that, and publish some thoughts on social media. And again, things are different this year because you will have the SPLOST credit or the eHost credit, and we'll have SPLOST that we will be beginning to spend to improve roads and transportation and public safety. So one of the things, and I'll close about the budget noting this, the cities in District 1 are going to be having an aggregate increase in the rate from DeKalb County because of the way the millage rates are done. The aggregate millage rate for the unincorporated areas is going to remain the same at 20.81, but in the city of Dunwoody, for instance, last year you were at 13.307, and this year you're going to be at 13.784 from the county. And the same is true, that's exactly the same for Brookhaven. Chambly is going to have an increase. It's slightly different. It's going to be from 13.013 to 13.447. But basically everyone in District 1 outside of Tucker, which just pays all of the county millage rate, all of the cities will have an actual increase in the rate. This is something I fight against every budget season. I think we've had one season where that didn't happen. So this instability, as some people call it in millage rates, troubles me, and I think that we are not actually doing fund by fund balancing truly to what services we need to deliver, but instead we're just actually kind of just trying to keep the whole aggregate rate the same, and we're, I think, not using the resources as we need in the funds. So I have an issue with that, and will likely not support the budget as a whole because of it. Now, so we haven't passed the budget and the millage rate officially yet, so I'll keep you posted on that. What we did yesterday in our meeting, we had in addition to the public hearing about the budget, we had a number of public hearings about some land use issues not in District 1. We had some condemnations for right-of-way and some traffic calming devices. Let's see. And we had a number of procurement issues that we either dealt with or sent to committee that were fairly straightforward. The ones I will draw your attention to that bothered me were public works issues. Let me get to them. Here we go. Did exactly. So we had our program manager for the consent decree, the sewer capital improvement program that we're doing to meet the federal requirements of the federal consent decree. Our program manager, it has been CH2M Hill, and we were basically executing a change order to continue with them, which I had some issues with, but ended up being okay with continuing with them as a program manager based on information and meetings that I had. But I voted no because the way the contract is right now, there are some things missing in the contract that aren't quite there yet. So we're continuing to work on them. So I'm at least optimistic that we'll get it in there. But I voted against it simply because I didn't think that was ripe at this point, but the rest of the commission wanted to go ahead, and so we did. So I'll continue to watch that situation and keep you posted on that. The one thing also that I voted against, and I have a real problem with this, was we ended up expending another $100,000 to VNF Solutions for professional consulting to the CEO for the consent decree. And basically this is a company that a former DA works for, the former DA in DeKalb County. So I have some concerns about this because we have asked for evidence of work product billing records, work product notes, anything. And we've asked for a while now in committee. We haven't been presented anything. So while the consulting services may be of value to the taxpayers of the county and to the administration that's using these services, I just don't have anything to judge to see what value that was, or even how it was billed, just given a number, 100,000. And supposedly we're still going to get this information, so I'll continue to follow this situation. But this is one of those things where it did get approved, and sadly I did not see any justification for it because we've yet to be provided any evidence of the work product. So we did that. A number of things went to committee, so we did have committee meetings today, or on Tuesday. Let me see if there's any other issues to talk to you about. One of the things, I get on a positive note, we did approve the program manager for SPLOST so that we can go ahead and start all of the planning and execution of spending that 1 cent sales tax to improve transportation and public safety and do some capital maintenance in DeKalb County. So I know everyone's looking forward to that. Obviously our roads are many years behind in maintenance, and so I'm looking forward to developing those work plans with my fellow commissioners, so stay tuned for that. There's a number of events that are happening around District 1 and the whole county, so please look out for my newsletter and my social media feeds, because food trucks are still going on at parks in District 1, and obviously the July 4th celebration is happening. Next week we will be changing our meeting date. We're meeting on Thursday the 28th and will not meet as a commission the following week because of the 4th of July holiday. So we'll meet this Thursday the 28th and not next week because of the holiday. So stay tuned, and I will keep you posted on the budget process and more in the next episode of Nancy Jester Reports. Thank you.